Thanks for coming, everyone. I'm under strict instructions to try to keep this to 10 minutes. So I'm actually going to be just talking to the work, and we'll try to keep it as concise as possible. So I realised I wanted to actually try to get a sense of chronology in my work, and also kind of discuss the nature of well, for me being a woman, which is getting talked about a lot at the moment actually, with the highs and lows of being a female artist, particularly if you have children and things like that, and how your career, I've been working since the late 80s, but showing kind of consistently, but then there's periods of not showing, and it's all about, my work is all about my life, and so there is this, I've kind of come to this kind of acceptance of that's where I am. So I went back to 1989 when I first discovered my mother as a subject for my photography. And at the time I didn't quite realise why I started photographing her. However, it's as much about my mortality as her mortality as our relationship. And so it went on. So I'm going to just breeze through these, which are all taken 1989 through to kind of 91. And these are all taken in a good friend's house, so it was a very personal space that was very familiar to me. It was also the first time I realised that I could actually photograph someone without them being in the photograph. And these are actually, because this was all shot on my large format film camera, I didn't have the digital file, so I've actually had to re-photograph the actual photograph. So some of them are a bit marked over time. I can track the day of this one, which was 1991, because it was in a shared house that I lived in at the time. And then we spring forward to 2015. There's obviously a lot of photographs taken kind of in the meanwhile, in ebbs and flows, but just giving that sense of duration and of relationship and of time, we kind of come to the present now. And so the work that we're going to look at now is kind of from, I did my Masters in 2013 and 14, and so this work is kind of all from 13 to the present. And this was the piece, it's called Virginia Creeper. All the original work was all not titled, but going to VCA, they like it titled.
They get so sick of untitled.
I took titling on. So this is called Virginia Creeper, which this was got into the Maggie Diaz Prize for Women. And that was taken in 2015. Which leads into, so this is taken at my mum's house, at her abandoned pool, which she decided not to fix about 12 years ago. But interestingly, so this body of work kind of explores the relationship I have always actually had to this pool, because we actually lived in a house down the hill, and our friends lived in this house, and so my childhood was spent swimming in this pool. And then they sold the house, many years went past. My mum ended up buying the house, and then my children swam in the pool, but then the filter broke, and now it is the abandoned pool. So I've gone on the journey with this pool, but it's also as much about, I remember when the filter broke, and it's just like, she's not going to fix it anymore. Okay. And so it's a sense of kind of loss, but evolution. And so it kind of took me a good, I kept looking at going, I need to take some photographs of it, but it was just all too hard. And then I just started to photograph the pool and realised that actually it had this evolving beauty and and depth of colour, and then I became quite engrossed in as an actual space. And it changes, every year it changes. It's still going. This piece is called Cocooned. It was runner-up in the In Collection Award last year. And it's that beautiful 60s kind of tile colour that is so... And so the work kind of talks also about a shared experience beyond my experience, but what that kind of sense of the backyard, of what it means to us, and the pool, and, all of that. So, I think it was my first video. So, escape, thank you. Okay. So this is a video installation that was in Blindside last year, which was curated by Adrienne and Verity Hayward, called Quarter Acre, exploring suburbia and what it is today, and where Adrienne would say there's a lot less eccentric than here. And so it was quite my piece was quite immersive. These were along the time that I took the videos. I also took the photographs, I also took a piece of video, so I created this thing. And there are birds, there are ducks that live in that pool. There we go. I'm here. Okay. Actually, I'm leading into another video over there. So, sorry, here we are. So that was the pool series. It also talks about evolution. It talks about time, and it talks about space, personal space, which concurrently to doing my masters. I'm trying to get back to that screen. That one. Yes. I was starting to go up to a town called Avoca, which is north of Ballarat. And because my mother's husband, who is a fair bit older than her, lived in Avoca, and he had just gone into a home, and so I was taking her up and down the highway, and this was actually during my masters, so I spent a lot of time there, and the nature of my work is it happens wherever I am. And on the way through there is a town called Warburg, which has a lot of wind farms, and there was a very particular day, this has no sound, so I can chat away, and this day there were these clouds, and this is just a very meditative piece about time, really, and passing. And sometimes the cloud gets so thick that the camera can't cope. But I am aware of time tonight, so you get the sense. And when I did display this, it actually was projected at wall size, and so it's quite a immersive space.
That's good.
Back to in a similar flow of time and how am I going for time? Okay. I do have to keep in mind I have to show 3 minute ones in. So I'm going to whiz through these ones. But this is part of my master's project, and this is called Infinite Loop. It was made in 2014. And it's where I used to walk dogs near where I live. It was just the nature of these runners that just kept going and going and going. And so this was part of a 4-panel projection. This was one of them. This was another one which was actually filmed over our back fence in Avoca onto the football field. And this is it. This is the installation of that work. There we go. And this is as much about hearing that noise that I hear in urban Melbourne as much as rural Avoca. And that this is a whole other world to my world. Doesn't want to talk to me. So there's 2 other videos going at the same time. One of them is Infinite Loop with the runners that just keep going, and another one is the starting gun, which is the noise that you hear, and a piece of hearing in the video screen over there, which is the starting gun of these runners that run it. It's all filmed at night, but it's about this slight, you feel, so the space is very dark, and you felt like you were in the bushes watching, which is often how I feel explored. But it is that incredible sound that they make, particularly footballers, and they are in their world. So, that video also got shown at Chin Chin restaurant in the city as a projection onto a wall, which worked quite well. So then we're still in Avoca, where actually this isn't Avoca, but this led into the Avoca work, which was about that resonance of object for the person, the resonance that a life has been lived and the object has been used, and what is retained within that object as a being. It was shown actually at the Windsor Hotel. That's it on the left, and the other one is another piece. It's actually from Alan's Avoca studio. Alan, who I will talk about in a minute. So at Avoca, where the football was filmed, my mother's husband, who's now in the home, he had a studio there. He was a painter. He was World War II war artist, and his studio, once he moved into he did keep going to the studio until his early 90s, and then he just sat there as this, with easel, with paint, with everything, space, and in the two-heart basket for the rest of the family. So I used to go in there and just take photographs and made some videos within the space. And he was a World War II war artist who was involved in the liberation of Bergen-Belsen when they didn't know what was behind the gates. And I found the really interesting thing with Alan's paints particularly is they had just this weight to them. When he started, he went into action when he walked through the gates and started drawing, and there were piles of bodies and all of the horrors that we know about the Holocaust and the concentration camps. And he was told to, which this is the part that always really intrigued me, was that pick up your camera because no one's going to believe you. So he had these mixture of paintings and drawings. And I found that a really deep vein of investigation. This work, and then I titled some of these, because he also had this incredible depth of kind of, because he died at 101, so he lived a long life. He knew Fred Williams, and he knew, you know, he kind of rattled off art history that I was learning at the time as well. So this one was Ode to Lizitsky, Ode to Bruegel's The Triumph of Death, Ode to Boltanski, which, you know, it gets kind of have that visual. This is Burnt Umber, which were just these, and all these paints are just sitting there. Nothing ever moves within these spaces. So this is his studio. This is actually a video I made within the studio, but I'm not playing it because I haven't got time, and it kind of needs, it's one of those very still videos. There's only a slight movement within it. And so everything, yes, so the ball of string on the shelf turned into the large ball of string photograph, and I just kind of investigated. And I had a show of the work at Rubicon, ARI, in 2015. Which leads me to the video I've made here. So this is going to conclude my talk. So this is what I've kind of been working on for the last couple of months, that I finished the other day. Escape. So I will conclude my talk now. Very aware of time while I'm being